Good morning, everybody. One more time. Welcome to SOS webinar, which is dedicated to embedded artists today. My name is Miriama, and I will be your admin for this webinar. Today's presenter is Anders Rosvall, and at the beginning of the webinar, I would like to say some organization information regarding the webinar. If there is any question regarding WebEx software and so, please write to me, to admin. All the questions regarding presentation and to Anders Rosvall, please write to Q&A window, and at the end of presentation, we will ask Anders to answer the question. Whole webinar will be also recorded, so next week you can find on our webpage whole record from this webinar. And last thing from my side, at the end of this webinar there is a short survey. So if you will be so keen to fulfill the survey with your feedback for us, and you can win a QuickStart Board from Embedded Aristis. So now I'm going to pass the word to Anders to start his presentation. Anders, hi, can we hear each other?
Yes, hello.
So I will change the role, and now you can start share your presentation and
Thank you very much. So let's start here, and then I will start here my presentation. So now I hope you can see the PowerPoint that I have here. So thank you very much for the introduction. So this is a presentation of Embedded Aristis, and specifically the LPC4088 QuickStart Board in combination with Mbed. And this is the outline, and by the way, here you see me also, so you know how I look like. So I will very shortly start with a presentation of Embedded Aristis after a few minutes, and I will also just give a quick overview of the different products that we have. Then I will move on and present Mbed, because I think Mbed is a very interesting and useful platform to work with. And then we will have a look at the mbed-enabled LPC4088 QuickStart Board that we have. And we will end with where I show a little bit how you can download code and so on. And of course, take questions in the end. So moving on, we have been in business for 14 years, and we are located in the south of Sweden, Malmö to be more specific. And the mission that our company has is to ensure simple and shorter design and development cycles when using NXP processes by providing reliable products, services, and knowledge to our customer. And how do we do this? Well, we design, produce, and distribute evaluation and OEM platform based on NXP processors to customers globally. We work with customers all over the world. And OEM is the name that we use for products that are designed for integration. We work in very close relationship with NXP, and this allows us to have a great deal of knowledge about the details of the microcontrollers that NXP provides. And we are also typically very early in working with new processors. And of course, we help our customers to integrate the OEM platform into end products also. Our customers have bought more than 226,000 boards since 2006. They have enjoyed reduced development time and faster time to market. They have been able to focus on their core application by eliminating complex design issues, and also reduce development and production costs, and been helped with baseboard designs. And last but not least, they have had a professional partner to turn to for support. So we also care about the environment. We have a sustainable technology trademark. That means that we do a carbon dioxide compensation, where we take account production, shipments, and travels, and we do this together with a well-known company that's called Zero Emission. We also work according to ISO 14001. We are not certified yet, but we work according to it, and we have plans to be certified during the fall. Embedded artists around the world. Well, we have customers in more than 75 different countries. Our boards are used in more than 60 universities that we know of, I should say also. And as you see here on the different logos, we have we have many well-known distributors and partners. So this is how we present ourselves to the typical customers. We are the reliable partner. We have high-quality products and services. We have an experienced design team with close relation to silicon vendors. We have quick and accurate support and good record of delivering on time. And we have excellent value for money. So we simplify your embedded development and allows you to focus on the core business. That's the message that we have to our customers. So this was a very quick introduction of the company. I'm trying not to bore you with this. Secondly, I would like to present the product portfolio that we have. This will also be very quickly. We have two main product groups. That is evaluation boards. These are boards to get started with, so to say. When you want to evaluate a new microcontroller from NXP, you look at the evaluation boards that we have. We have a couple of sub-families here, the LPC4088 family, the application kits, and the developer kit. And then we have the OEM boards. These are the products and boards designs for integration. There we have computer module style boards that are based on the SODIMM form factor, and we also have graphical user interfaces and controllers. So let's have a look at the LPC Expresso boards. This is a product family that we have developed in very close cooperation with NXP. The products are actually owned by NXP, but it's us that has developed and produces the boards also. So LPC Expresso is a low-cost, feature-rich development tool chain. And in the upper right corner, you see two pictures of a typical LPC Expresso board. The right-hand side is the target processor. That's the processor that we want to evaluate. And the left side is the embedded debugger part. That's identical between the different boards, and the right-hand part is different between the different microcontrollers. And currently, we have 9 different boards available. And along with this, you also have a free Eclipse-based IDE, which is very powerful. And just recently, we have developed the second generation of these LPC Expresso boards, where we basically have added a couple of more features, and we also have added Arduino-compatible pinning, which makes it much easier to do prototyping, for example, because there is a lot of Arduino shields out there. And then, of course, we also have a couple of support boards. Around this, we have a baseboard, an experiment kit, and a value pack also, and some other things also. Also part of the LPC Expresso family is the LPC Link 2. That's a quite unique board. It's an extensible standalone debugger adapter for Cortex-4 that can be configured to support various development tools and IDEs by downloading different firmware images. So for example, if you use LPC Link 2 as the debug adapter under the LPC Expresso IDE, then you actually, in this case, you don't need to download an image because that is what LPC Expresso IDE does. But you can also, for example, download firmware to get jailing functionality from the debugger. The best part of it all is actually that it's available for only 15 euro. So it's a very cheap debug adapter. Then we have LabTool, which is actually an add-on board to the LPC Link 2, because the microcontroller that is used on the LPC Link 2 board is very powerful. It's the LPC4088. That's a 204 megahertz Cortex M4 processor with an 80 megahertz ADC. So what we did here was that we developed a very useful tool on your lab bench when you debug your hardware. So we have implemented an 11-channel logic analyzer, 2-channel oscilloscope, 11-channel digital signal generator, and 2-channel analog signal generator. And also quite interesting, I think, is that all software is open source, and the graphical user interface for this product is based on a very portable platform, so it can, for example, easily run on a Raspberry Pi. And you get this LabTool bundle for only 99 euros. So moving on, we also have application kits, and these are actually it's a hardware plus big software framework also. So we have worked much more on the software side here, and trying to give you a more complete platform, so to say. And first off, we have the Android Open Accessory Application Kit. It's a standalone platform for evaluating and prototyping electronic accessories for the Android operating system. But it's also actually much used in universities and so on, because it's very suitable for experimenting with CAN, Ethernet, and RF networks. And this specific board has 2 microcontrollers and an onboard CAN network, for example. And then we also have the low power application kit, where we show you how to design a very, very low power application. So for example, we have an application where we update the clock on the display, and the power consumption is only 20 microwatt. Moving on to developer's kit, this is also something that you want to start with when you evaluate an NXP microcontroller. So Embedded Aristis developer's kit is a flexible platform to get started quickly with prototyping and development. These kits are available for LPC microcontrollers with external memory bus, and most pins of the microcontrollers are available. So you get this basic OEM design, that's the red part in the middle, and then you have a baseboard around it, where you have all pins accessible, plus a lot of peripherals implemented. So you basically get a very good reference design, both for the microcontroller and for the peripherals, and you get a lot of sample applications and the detailed user's manual. So we say that there is no faster way to get started with an LPC microcontroller. So these were the evaluation boards, and then we have the OEM boards. So Embedded Aristis OEM boards gives you a core design around the microcontroller. Using our OEM boards in your target product will reduce the risk and ensures that you deliver on time. And it's actually lower cost to use our proven platform compared to creating and maintaining your own platform. And we have an integration guide that makes the integration very smooth. And of course, we can help you with the baseboard design. That will eventually be your final product, so to say. So here the slogan is, save time and money with our ready-to-use platform. And the final product group that we have is something that we actually have not released yet, but we are in final stages of development of this platform, so it will be released during the fall. It's a graphical user interface and controller designs. This is a fast and simple way to create graphical user interfaces to the product. And since we target this for integration, and we have a lot of industrial customers also, we have a path to grow and a long time availability commitment also. There will be different display sizes and resolutions. Initially, there will be resistive touch panels also, but there will also be capacitive touch panels further down the road. And we implement this by using industry standard LCD form factors, and we have designed that allows us to update the LCD part of it without affecting your software. And this is a very complete design actually, and you get a lot with this platform, but in the end you will probably need also some custom specific inputs and outputs. So therefore we have an expansion connector also that makes it very easy to add your specific I/O. And there are multiple ways of connecting to the microcontroller also. And since we will be talking about Mbed in just a few seconds, I also mentioned that this platform is also Mbed-enabled. So again, save time and money, we are ready to use the platform. So that was a very quick overview of Embedded Aristis and our products. So let's begin now talking about the embedded framework. Maybe we should take a little overview here and ask ourselves, well, why is Mbed interesting in the first place? What is the rationale behind it? Well, we have general design problems, and that's increased design complexity. And the complexity has increased quite a lot, mainly in software, because customers expect quite a lot of functionality, and they take it for granted also. A lot of communication possibilities, plug and play functions, and so on. And I mean, if you start using the latest MCU that are released, you are often faced with users manuals and data sheets that are at least 500 or 1,000 pages long. And actually, you will have to read a surprisingly large amount of these pages in order to get everything right. And there is a pressure to shorter time to market, less engineering resources, and shorter product life cycles, and so on. So every development project that starts have the following design concerns. There is a need to save time, there is a need to reduce cost, there is a need to minimize the risk, and try to reuse as much as possible from the previous generation of products also. You can say that there is a need to work with a future-proof platform also. Customers or the developers need to have something to grow in, so to say. And this is the reason why Mbed exists, you can say. So, Mbed themselves present them as the Mbed development platform is the fastest way to create products based on ARM microcontrollers. And they also say that the Mbed platform provides free software libraries, hardware designs, and online tools for professional rapid prototyping of products based on ARM microcontrollers. These are the core messages from the Mbed organization. And there are 4 important cornerstones of this platform. We will look at each of these cornerstones in more detail now. There is the SDK, which is an open source C++ library. There is the HDK, which is a common standard for development board functions. And there is a free online C++ compiler that can be used via a web browser. And last but not least, there is a large and active community. So first, a little bit of history also. There is a big commitment from NXP side for the Mbed platform. NXP was the lead partner. They founded a lot of the initial Mbed development. And they were exclusive for a long time with the original LPC4088 module. And just very recently, they have also announced support for the LPC Expresso version 2 family. And these are the boards that I just presented a couple of minutes ago. And the onboard debug microcontroller here can be programmed to be the HDK interface. And we will look more in detail what the HDK is in a couple of minutes also. And it is actually Embedded Aristis that has done the HDK for the LPC Expresso version 2 boards. Excuse me. They also claim that it's open source, but that can mean many different things. So let's have a little look what it will means in reality. Just until just recently, Mbed has been very close, but it opened up gradually during 2013. And Embedded Aristis was actually the first third-party company that did a new platform design. First, only the original NXP LPC4088 board, and later the 11U24 board existed, and that was until 2013. But now there is a big focus on more platform and also a big focus on IoT, meaning Internet of Things. So I think it's time to have a little look at the Mbed website now also. I hope you can see now here also. I added let me see, I think I need to do like this, so you can have a look at the Mbed website. Yeah. So if you look at the top here, the top menu, there is a menu item that's called platforms. So if you click here, you get the list of all the platforms that are currently supported, and this list is growing. And for example, here you have the Embedded Aristis LPC4088 QuickStart Board that we'll be talking about in a few minutes. So these are the platforms that exist right now, and you can click on each of them and have a more detailed look also. And here is then, of course, the pinning percentage and the key highlight features also. Okay, moving on in the presentation. The SDK and HDK are available under a permissive Apache 2.0 license. And just because it's available and open source doesn't mean that it's cheap. So for example, if you need to compile the HDK firmware, you currently need a quite expensive multi-edition license. Hopefully this will change in the future, but right now you need an expensive license. But also quite importantly, for open source to work, there must be a large and active community, and on all parts of the platform, not just on the application programming level. And I think that Mbed has this actually. And also, what is quite unique with Mbed is that from the beginning they have built-in support for collaboration. There is a fully distributed version control in the system, and the implication is that it's very simple and easy to share code and improve others' code as well. And we will have a look at this later on also during this presentation. So moving on to the SDK, the software development kit. This consists of startup code, the C, C++ runtime libraries, and peripheral APIs also. And they say Mbed.org says that the Mbed SDK gives you an API-driven approach to microcontroller coding. And we have done all the hard work of implementing drivers for the different Mbed microcontrollers, and that is very much true. There are many benefits with this. For example, much of the hardware details are hidden, you can say abstracted away. So you can really do real C++ type programming at a high level. And you don't have to worry about the hardware details in most cases. But that is also, on the other hand, that is a strength, but on the other hand, it can also be a negative thing because you abstract away much of the hardware details. All peripherals looks the same when high-level APIs are used. So you don't really make use about all the special features that might exist in the microcontrollers that you use. So there are both benefits and negative things with it. There are a couple of official Mbed APIs, and they are very well documented on the handbook. And for example, there are digital I/O that 10 different interfaces or 2 different interfaces on the analog I/O. There are networking, communication interfaces, time and interrupts file system, and also a really nice real-time operating system. So let's go back to the website here again and have a look at it. Handbook is also in the one of the menus here, top menus. And if we just scroll down a little bit, here we see official Mbed C++ libraries. And here we have documentation about the digital I/O interfaces, the analog I/O, the networking libraries, the communication interfaces, UART, SPI, SQC, CAN, USB device, and USB host. So there are quite a lot of APIs here. Timer, interrupts, file system, and the real-time operating system. And there is actually quite much more information available here. And for example, now if we just look at the very simple interface, the digital out, you get some small demo program, and you also get information about the API, the different methods, and there can also be much more documentation. And what is really nice that on most of the pages on this website, there is provision for asking questions and starting discussions. Now here was only one thing, but there can be much more things on the more advanced interfaces, for example. So I imagine here, for example, the socket interface. There are more methods and so on. If we scroll down here, there are a lot of different samples here. And there are also much more questions, for example. Moving on. Excuse me. Let's talk a little bit about the HDK. That's the common definition of the functions that we'll find on the Mbed platforms, on the evaluation boards. And here we have taken the LPC4088 QuickStart Board that we will talk more in detail in a few minutes. But just as an example, in the middle, the big black square in the middle, that's the LPC4088, that's the target processor. And then on the left side here, you have the HDK, which is also a small microcontroller. It's actually Cortex-M0 microcontroller. And this microcontroller, together with the HDK firmware, that implements the HDK. So basically what you do, you plug in a USB cable here. And on the PC, 3 things, 3 interfaces and 3 functionalities will pop up. First, the USB mass storage device will show up. I mean, that's another name used in memory stick, you can say. And the thing is that when you compile your application, you will get the binary. And by taking this binary file that you get from the online compiler and drag and drop it into the memory stick, the HDK here will transfer the binary down to the target processor, the LPC4088 in this case. You also get the SOS DAP interface. That's use the HID interface for debug interfaces. So that's a new standard that many IDEs support, where you can do real low-level debugging or for the JTAG or SWD debug interface. Then you also get the virtual serial COM port. So, for example, you can, if you have a terminal application on your PC, you can connect it to the virtual COM port, and then you can get the console outputs from the target processor to this terminal program. So, for example, now I have on my desk here, I have this LPC4088 QuickStart Board. So, if I now plug in the USB cable like this, something will happen. It will pop up as a new drive here. So it will look like this. So here I get this memory stick where I can drag and drop the binaries. We will look at this in more details when we go to the more practical demo section of this presentation. Moving on. So the HDK is the hardware, the debugging C plus the firmware. And you can download this code via GitHub. And of course, the benefit with this is that it adds very valuable functionality to an evaluation board, an evaluation platform. And the negative thing is that, of course, if you would like to have this on a volume product, it doesn't have to be very big volumes, but still, there is a cost to every board that will be added due to the extra microcontroller that implements the HDK. And also be aware that the HDK is not really well defined. There are some boards in the platform list that I showed you before that claim to be HDK compatible, but actually only support the USB drag and drop functionality. So you will not get the SOS DAP interface, and you will not get the virtual serial COM port either. So have a more detailed look before you select the platform to work with. Okay, moving on to the online compiler. That's a third cornerstone in the Mbed platform. Mbed themselves, they say that the Mbed compiler provides a lightweight online C++ IDE that is pre-configured to let you quickly write programs, compile and download to run on your Mbed microcontroller. And that is very much true. And you don't need to install anything because it's a web application. And it's supported on many different operating systems and many different web browsers. It's really very nicely done. And the Mbed compiler is, of course, then the IDE. That's the editor where you can write your program and manage your projects. And there is a very nice integrated version control also. It's very easy to import libraries and example program. I will show you that in a couple of minutes. And it's also very easy to export all your projects out to an external toolchain. And I will explain soon why that might be interesting. The benefits of this online compiler is, of course, that it's extremely accessible. You can access it just as long as you have a web browser and an internet connection. And it's really zero cost, it's free. But the negative side of it is that it really lacks a real debugger. If you want to do debugging, which, I mean, that's basically all your products you do projects that you do, you will need to do some kind of debugging, normally at least. But you are forced to blinking LED or printf style debugging, which is maybe not so professional. So, and there is also an implication of this kind of cloud application that the online compiler IDE is. For hobbyists and universities, it's no problem to have an online compiler where you upload your code and so on. But for professionals, it's typically not okay to upload a software to a third party, because software is really your core business that you want to protect, I can imagine. So that's why you can export all the code package to other professional tools that has also better debugging support. And we will have a look at that also. It's very simple to export it and import it into other tools. Components, cookbook and notebooks. What is that? Well, here is a big part of the value of Mbed for you, I would say. Getting something to start with and reusing what others have created. And let's have a different look about these 3 different sections of the Mbed web page. So here we are back on this one. Let's have a look at the components. Here is a list of the different components that has been created, where you have a driver and some demo application for also. And it's quite a lot of different components that you can choose here from. And for example, if you look at one component, this typical very common character LCDs, you have a library that someone has created, and actually it has been updated very recently, also just 4 days ago. You have a small demo application also where you show how you use this library, for example. And there can be quite a lot of different also documentation around this. And in this case, maybe not so much, but there are others. You can have much more detailed information about the drivers and so on. And here is one example of quite a lot of different information. So that was the component. You have a lot of components to select from here. And here, moving on to the cookbook. That's where you document libraries and tutorials. So also in the top menu here, cookbook. This is also the components that we saw here before are actually also listed here, but there are much more things here also. So this is just now me scrolling down a long list of different libraries, you can say, that has been created. And there are more also utility libraries. There are a lot of embedded platforms also. I mean baseboards for the different platforms. And there are quite a lot of tutorials and so on also. In general, I would say that there is a lot of information on the Mbed websites, really a lot of information. One part of it also is the notebooks. That's a place where you can document your own project, for example. So let's have a look here now. Here you can document your different projects. It can be like this LPC Mini. That's a person that has created his own Mbed platform a while ago. And for example, here is pictures of the platform, layout and schematic, and also some pictures of the prototypes. and quite a lot of information. And the nice part that I showed you before also, on most of the pages here on the Mbed website, you can post comments and questions and so on. So here is 61 comments on just this little page, so to say. So quite a lot of information. And for example, now I just happen to know this, but you can find quite a lot of information here. So now I just search for the LPC4088 and, for example, an MP3 player. And then I can have a look here. Oh, here is a person that has done some work around this. For example, here. Now it's in Japanese, but I can still download interesting information about this. Here is the Mbed platform that we have developed, and with an external codec and some firmware, you get an MP3 player, for example. This is just a little example of that you can find quite a lot of information, and you can find quite a lot of interesting uses here also. And for example, now I have logged in here on my private account to the Mbed platform. And for example, this is the activity that I've done. I have these 3 platforms added to my account. Okay, moving on. So that was a little introduction to the Mbed platform. Now we're just going to quickly look at the Mbed-enabled LPC4088 QuickStart Board, and then we will move on to look in more detail how to use these 2 parts in combination. So here we have the QuickStart Board hardware features. It's a 120 megahertz LPC4088 Cortex M4F core, and the F stands for floating point. There is half of a megabyte on chip flash and 8 megabytes external QSBI. Both flashes can be used for program and data storage. There's also 32 megabyte of external DRAM. There is an Internet interface including the connector and magnetics. There is USB host interface and device interfaces that also including the connectors. There is a real debug and trace interface. There is an LCD controller interface also. And there is an XP compatible RF interface on the top. There are multiple communication options on this board. Of course, these are the one I just listed. Plus an UART, I2C, SPI, and CAN buses also. We say that this is just not just another piece of hardware. It's much more because it's Mbed enabled, and we know these are the parts that I just have presented. But let's have a look at the last 2 bullets here. Extensive tutorials on online, or all documentation online as Mbed Board. Let's have a little look about the documentation that really exists for this platform. So if we go back again to platform here, and then we select the Embedded Aristis LPC4088 QuickStart Board. And then we come to this documentation that I showed you before. But here is another link. For more information, see the LPC4088 QuickStart Board documentation pages. Here you will find a real documentation, so to say. And there is quite a lot here. These are the main topics, and there's also a YouTube video of me presenting this little board here. There is hardware information where you find, of course, this pin usage, but also key components, mechanical information, compatibility issues, or information, I would say, current consumption, and a number of questions. There is also software. We have developed quite a lot of software around this that we have packed in a library. And here is a lot of information around this also. We have a file system, for example, in the QSBI Flash. So yeah, there's information there. We have information about development environments and debugging here, where we point at relevant sections inside the mbed.org site. And also a few tips here how you can connect your hardware. We also have a getting started tour, and this is actually the getting started tour that we will be performing in a couple of minutes also. And there is also quite a lot of experiments here that you can walk through to get started and get acquainted with the platform here. We will not do all of this because that would take too long time. There is also information how to expand and interact with the surrounding world. And here is also users examples, and there are also examples of the interface designer, for example. So if I open this PDF here, there is a 13-page large schematic that explains different types of expansion. Here is I2C interface example, SPI interface examples, UART interface examples, RS232 interface examples, RS42485 examples, CAN interface, SD memory card, different versions, USB expansion, power supply examples, and also how to design the interface to an external display, for example. So quite a lot of information here. And if we look here, for example, how to expand, then there is quite a lot of also code examples and things that you must remember and note and so on. And there is this type of info for all the different interfaces. So this is also a huge source of information when you want to develop with the LPC4088 QuickStart Board. And then we have integration guide, what you need to think about when you integrate your board into a final design. Projects, we have a number of mostly graphical projects, I believe it is, that are shown here. And a little things to note page and how to update firmware in the HDK and so on. So yeah, you have quite a lot of information that is available just as long as you have internet access, I would say. Moving on in the presentation here. There are quite a lot of graphical possibilities because there is an on-chip LCD controller. There is also 32 megabytes of external SD RAM that can be used for frame buttons. And it's practical for a quite large displays, I would say, and it's possible to create professional looking HMIs. And there is, this is to link to you to the video. I don't think I can show you this video over WebEx, but you can have a look at it yourself. It is also accessible from the product page on our website. That is a little slideshow presentation that runs on this board, and it shows you that you can do video and some other quite nice things also. And of course, it's a Cortex M4F core, meaning that it has floating point and USB functionalities also. This board has been designed for integration from the beginning. It has proper USD protection on all the communication interfaces, and it's designed for industrial temperature range from the beginning also. It's produced in ISO 9001 and ISO 14001 subcontractors, so to say. And best of all, it's a flat price model. You get volume price from quantity 1. And we also have actually a baseboard around this where you can access all the expansion signals, including the LCD signals. And here is just some samples where you can work with different displays also. And this is a little peek into the future. Together with ARM and NXP, we have developed something that we will call ARM University Experiment Board that will be released during fall 2014. It's a more advanced version of the previous baseboard that I just shown. It has added an audio codec, so you can do some real nice audio applications here and make full use of the Cortex M4 DSP functions, for example. There's some sensors and various micro SD memory carding. There's also some other small stuff that you can use for experimenting. And there is also direct support for mounting different displays. So that was the background here. And now it's time for me to show you how to develop with the LPC4088 QuickStart Board and Mbed. So you saw before I show you the QuickStart getting started tools, and this is just the highlights of it. You need to start to connect your board to the PC. That I have actually already shown you. Secondly, you need to register an account on the mbed.org site. And you need then, after having done that, you need to add the platform that you want to work with to your account. And then you just start working. So let's have a look here now. If we go back to the mbed.org site here, and as you see now, I've already logged in here, and this platform has already been added to my account here. But if we look at the platform, so now I can only remove this from the compiler. But if you don't have it on your account, here will be a button where you can add this platform to your account instead. What you can do, if we look now at the platform here and the tutorial to getting started tool, we have a little pre-compiled application here that you can start with. So let's do that now. I have downloaded it here. Here is the first test program, and it is a bin file. And then I have the other, the embed memory stick here. This is the way of program. I just drag and drop it like this. And now it's now of course you cannot see it, but I look at the hardware and a red LED flashes showing that the application is downloaded. The memory stick shortly disappears and then reappears when it's ready, when it has downloaded. And you know that it is ready. And the only thing you have to do now is to press the reset button to start the program. And when I do that now on my hardware, I see 4 nice flashing LEDs on the hardware that I use. So that is really it is that simple to program the platform. So if I now want to show you how do I do my own programs. Here in the upper right corner, I can press the compiler. And now this is my account. I have several different projects. If I now want to start a new project, I do like this, new program. And then since now I have many different platforms, I have select the platform that I want to work with, but it is the LPC4088 QuickStart Board right now. And there are two different templates that I can work from right now. There's Blinky LED and an empty program. But let's start with the Blinky LED. And just click like that. So, and here I have the Blinky LED project, and I have the main here, and it's just that the LED is flashing. If I now want to compile this application, I just press compile, and the binary file will be downloaded. Here, now this is the last one that the pre-compile. I can remove that, and then I just drag and drop the new compile application. And if I now press the reset button, my LED flashes. And it's just one LED that flashes now. This is how easy it is to compile and download an application. Suppose now that I don't want to, now I want to have a breakpoint here, for example. Well, that is impossible in this environment. What I now can do is that I right-click on the project and I export it. And then I export it to, for example, the LPC Expresso IDE export. So, and here we have the zip file that is actually that is containing the project. So if I now start LPC Expresso, with a new, now I've started LPC Expresso with a new fresh workspace. Then I just do like this. In the QuickStart panel here, I just import a project. And I import the zip file that I just downloaded like this. Next, and finish. So, and here I have the main. And I also have the Mbed library as a library. It is actually also possible to export the SDK as the source files, and that can be very useful if you want to also debug the SDK. Now, of course, I can just click here on building, but that will actually generate an error during linking now. And that's the that's the linker that complains that the embed library and compiled files here doesn't match up. And this is a temporary bug, you can say, that exists right now because you have to change the settings about how the floating point is generated. It must be like this. This is normally not something you need to do, but right now in this version of it, you will need to change this at 4 places like this. And now we can clean and then we can rebuild it. And now it works like a charm. Okay, now we have a new binary that we want to download. We don't use, when we work with the LPC Express IDE, of course we don't work with USB drag and drop. We have a real SEM system interface now that the HDK also implements. So we just start the debug session like this. And then the LPC Express IDE finds the SEM system interface now and asks if I want to use it. Yes. And now I can to the green LED flashing, not the red one that is used from memory for USB drag and drop. Now the green LED flashes on the HDK, and now I actually downloaded the code via SEM system interface, and I can place my breakpoint like this. I can start execution and it stopped at the breakpoint like this. It's extremely useful to be able to do real debugging like this. And I can start again, and it will stop the next time it hits the breakpoint. So, closing LPC Express IDE here. Now, of course, this was just a small Blinkly application here, but suppose I have developed a very big application that I want to publish. I can do that also. And I can make my own revision. So I have full version control here. I can do commits, for example. And a very nice thing also, for example, this is a very much bigger application that we have developed that is quite large. This is part that I have actually received from another colleague of mine. I can then, it says here that I have imported this and the documentation is out of date. So I can go to this now homepage where my colleague has presented or published, I mean, this program here that I imported. And then I can have a look at the history on what was done and so on. Let's have a look, for example, if I now look at the components here. Let's just select the temperature sensor, the LM75, that is a very common temperature sensor. Here I can, of course, then import a library for it, but I can also import a complete library and an example program. So I just do like this. Import program. Then it asks if I want to import it as a program or a library. I want to do like this now. And here I have my new application that I've just now imported. That is like this. I can do also now changes here to this. Let's have a look at this page here that we was in. I can ask to write the questions. I can do updates and pull requests, and I can have a look also about the different versions here that existed. So yeah, there is a lot of functionality implemented here for collaborations. That's quite unique, really, and is a very big strength of the Mbed platform, I would say. And now, of course, I have only showing you very simple applications, but there are much more advanced applications also, like complete frameworks for Internet of Things, for example, where there is really a lot of code that you get right out of the box. Yes, I think I've shown you all the features. And the last part here also, if you want to do, you can have trace functionality also, so on. The LPC Link 2 does not yet support trace in the firmware, but it supports trace on the hardware level. So whenever the firmware is updated on the Link 2 from NXP, it will support trace also. And you get really a professional debugging tool there for only 20 euro. That's 15 euro for the LPC Link 2 and 5 euros for the 20 position cable here, for example. So that was the complete presentation from my side, and I hope you have enjoyed it, and now you have learned quite a lot of the Mbed framework here, I hope. So yeah, I think now it's time for me to stop here, and if you have any questions, write them down.
Okay, I have one question. Your embedded boards are based on NXP processors. Are there any substantial advantages of NXP processors in comparison to other producers, or is it simply a matter of choice?
Yeah, since I'm not an NXP employee, I would say it's a matter of choice. But we have worked with the NXP microcontrollers for more than 10 years, close to 15 years, and we really love them. They are great products, and we think that they are better than the competitors.
Okay. So I don't see any other questions. So please, if you have any question, feel free to write it to Q&A window. And of course, if there is any question after this webinar, you can feel free to contact us, and we will forward this question to Anders to answer it. So I would like to thank you, Anders, for your presentation, and also thank all the participants who joined this webinar, and hopefully you find this webinar helpful for your work. So I would like to ask you one more time if you would be so keen to fulfill a short survey after this webinar to provide us with your feedback. So if there is any improvement we can do, or any comments from your side, we will be really thankful for it. And you can win a QuickStart Board from Embedded Aristis for your answers. And also, I would like to invite you to our other webinars. The next one will be on 18th June for Velar. So we still don't have any other questions. So in this case, I would really like to thank you for your time and for your participation. And Anders, one more time, thank you for your presentation.
Thank you very much. It was my pleasure.
Okay, so I wish everybody a nice rest of the day. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.